Sometimes the box score tells the truth. Other times it hides legends, misfits, and moments so rare they seem impossible. A game winner from beyond half court. A career that lasted less than a single possession. A man who played almost 30 minutes and left zero trace on the stat sheet. These aren't just records, they're one-of-one stories that prove the NBA is wilder than we think. We're breaking down the NBA records that aren't just hard to beat, they might never fall. So, which one is the most untouchable? And what do these insane numbers say about the league? Hit that like button, subscribe for more NBA content, and let's get into it. With just 1.4 seconds left on the clock, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hit a 30-foot bomb to tie the game for the Thunder. The crowd erupted. Overtime looked certain.
Got a foul. And they do. He got it. He fouled him. And 4 to play, out of timeouts.
But what happened next was that the record books were. Devonte Graham caught the inbounds pass, took a single dribble, and launched a 61-foot shot. Off the glass and in. Game over. Pelicans win 113-110.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander credit as Devonte sends it. Gets it! Gets it!
That shot wasn't just dramatic, it was historic. According to ESPN, it's the longest game-winning buzzer beater in over 25 years. Even crazier, Second Spectrum data said Graham's shot had just a 3.5% chance of going in. Add in Shai's just before miracle, the odds of both shots hitting were only 0.5%. No one's come close since. Tyreke Evans' 50-footer used to be the standard. Now Graham's miracle sits alone. Now let's go from the longest game-winning shot to the shortest career. James Curry's NBA career was over before most fans could blink. On January 5th, 2010, Curry stepped onto the court for the Clippers, played just 3.9 seconds, and never played in the NBA again. He wasn't some no-name with no talent. In high school, Curry scored more points than Jordan, Worthy, or David Thompson in North Carolina, racking up 3,302 total. But trouble followed him like a shadow. A drug sting in high school cost him his UNC scholarship. Legal issues, missed flights, and wrong turns kept piling up. He made it to the NBA on a 10-day contract, got on the court, barely touched the ball, and then the Clippers waived him the next day. He never made it back. James Curry's 3.9 seconds is the NBA's shortest career on record. From phenom to footnote, it's a record that speaks to just how brutal and unforgiving the league can be. Now let's talk about a guy who spent plenty of time on the court. Rasheed Wallace was many things. A defensive force, a playoff warrior, and an absolute magnet for technical fouls. In the 2000 to 2001 season, Wallace racked up a staggering 41 techs. That's one every other game. No player has come close since. To put it in perspective, today's league leaders barely crack 20. Wallace more than doubled that. He also holds the NBA record for most ejections ever with 29. And his career total of 317 techs ranks third all-time behind Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. But here's the thing, Wallace's edge was part of his game. His intensity rattled opponents. He was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting that same season, while averaging nearly 20 points. He played with fire, and sometimes that meant getting burned. This next record wasn't set on the court, but it's jaw-dropping all the same. Forget triple-doubles. Calvin Murphy's numbers off the court are what landed him a permanent place in NBA trivia history. The Hall of Fame fathered 14 children with 9 different women. That's right, 14. Standing just 5 feet 9 inches, Murphy had no trouble scoring in any arena. He averaged 17.9 points per game over a 13-year career, shooting nearly 50% from the field. But the point guard took the term a little too literally in his personal life. Most of his kids were born out of wedlock. Murphy was only officially married to 2 women. Despite controversy, including abuse allegations he denied and was acquitted of, Murphy remains a well-known figure in Houston as a TV analyst. No other NBA player, not even Dwight Howard or Shawn Kemp, has matched Murphy's family tree. It's a record that's shocking, unconventional, and unbreakable. But if you want to talk about distance, nobody went further than this next guy. On February 17th, 2001, Baron Davis launched a shot from nearly the entire court, 89 feet. And hit nothing but the net. No dribble, no prayer, just a clean bucket with 0.7 seconds left. Davis wasn't even known as a sharpshooter. He shot just 32% from deep in his career, but this one was perfect. The record still stands as the longest made shot in NBA history. This was just one piece of a highlight-filled career for Davis, a 2-time All-Star, a steal leader, and the engine behind the Warriors' historic 2007 upset over the 67-win Mavericks. But even with all those moments, that 89-footer is the one that sits alone in NBA history. Now to a Hall of Famer with one stat he'd probably rather forget. Sir Charles may have been one of the greatest power forwards ever, but when it came to the 3-ball, woof. Barkley shot just 26.6% from beyond the arc for his career, dead last among qualified players. He only topped 30% in 2 of his 15 seasons. His form was funky, his confidence irrational, and his results brutal. Barkley even once lost a three-point contest to broadcaster Ernie Johnson. That's how bad it got. Today's NBA is ruled by the three. But in Barkley's era, big men firing from deep was a novelty. Still, Barkley's bricklaying was legendary. During a recent roast, Stephen A. Smith reminded him he's the second worst postseason three-point shooter of all time. Yet despite this flaw, Barkley still dominated. That just makes the stat more jaw-dropping. Nobody with that bad a jumper has ever been that great. Our next record, a game so empty it barely left a fingerprint. In 2011, Joel Anthony logged 29 minutes for the Miami Heat and didn't register a single point, rebound, assist, steal, or block. Nothing, not even a shot attempt. He was on the floor for nearly 2 full quarters and statistically may as well have been invisible. Even the one foul attributed to him was later credited to someone else. Anthony wasn't there to light up the scoreboard. His job was setting screens, defending the paint, and doing the grunt work. Still, 29 empty minutes is unheard of. What's wild is he nearly repeated it weeks later in another game. Despite this statistical blackout, Anthony won 2 NBA titles. His box score was empty, but his impact was real. And finally, from statless minutes to a player who's worn more jerseys than anyone else. Ish Smith has played for more NBA teams than anyone else, 13 in total. He broke the record when he suited up for the Denver Nuggets, passing the likes of Jim Jackson and Chuck. From the Rockets to the Grizzlies, to the Warriors, Magic, Bucks, Suns, Thunder, Sixers, twice, Pelicans, Pistons, Wizards, twice, Hornets, and Nuggets. Smith's career is a map of the league. He's been a backup, a starter, a mentor, and everything in between. Despite constantly switching jerseys, Smith has averaged 7.6 points and 3.9 assists across over a decade in the league. He's not just surviving, he's contributing. At 34, he's still going. Whether he plays for a 14th team or finishes with a ring in Denver, Ish Smith's place in NBA history is secure. So we just explored how a buzzer beater broke probability, the shortest career in the NBA, and more technicals than some players have started. 14 kids, 13 teams, 0 stats in 29 minutes. Barkley is bricking from deep. These records aren't just unlikely, they feel untouchable. They show how far the NBA stretches, from skill to chaos, from discipline to disbelief. Whether it's heartbreak, hilarity, or history, these moments remind us that the NBA is full of stories no stat line can fully explain. So, which record do you think has the craziest backstory, and which one do you think could be broken someday? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more NBA content.